Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Good to see a few of you on already. The old Thankful Thursday. Good to see you. Danny, mate, how you doing? Got Chris in the house. We've got Alex there as well. Morning, Alex. Good to see you. Luke out and about. Good to see you. Thanks, folks, for joining. Hope you're well, wherever you are on this lovely day. Tim's here too. Tim. Got Alina, Rose. Everyone's rolling around today. Good to see you, folks. Thanks for joining me. Do the quick intros while things are warming up. Got a few of you here already, but I'm sure a few might pop on by. Jason Witten's my name if you didn't already know. Most of you do, though. But if you are new, say hello. Let us know where you're coming in from. We do this each weekday at about 10 past 8. And about 10 past 8 anyway. Talk about what's going on out there in the world of property investing. Pontificate, opinionate, factuate. Is that a real word, factuate? Maybe. Who knows? About the idea of growing a property portfolio, creating a property portfolio, and sort of going the distance when it comes to investing, folks. Takes time to get that thing on track. So, yeah, does take a little bit of time as we go along. How did the property look yesterday? Looked pretty snaz, I reckon. Maybe I can see if I've got a photo. I don't think my wife took all the photos, but let me see if I can find one. Anyway, here we go. It's kind of cool. I'll see if I can drop that to my iPad. Went and visited one of my properties yesterday, which was kind of cool. Probably an interesting one in all reality, folks. Here we go. I didn't get a lot of photos elsewhere, but check out the view. It's pretty cool. That's on the top of the building. It's in a thing called a bird's nest hanging out over the building, overlooking the city of Brisbane and the river. It's pretty cool. Anyway, there you go. Pretty fun thing to go and check out. My wife and my daughter came along, which was kind of nice. Funny how many, or like I was chatting yesterday, not many properties I've actually ever visited that I've purchased, and only the ones that I like the idea of visiting. that I have. So there you go. Anyway, no, it was well worth doing, and I think we're going to have a bit of a party up there and whatever. I think a few of the purchases are going to be popping along. But this morning, folks, I thought we might talk about the idea of how do we, and I use the word guaranteed financial success as a property investor. Guarantee. What's the guarantee? There's this one thing. There's a one thing, and over the last 20 plus years, we've had over 7,000 keen property investors join our coaching and mentoring program across Australia and New Zealand over 20 years. We've been, lucky enough to help them buy, 10,000 plus properties. And, along the way, it's always fascinated me why, some people succeed and some people don't when it comes to property investing. And, there's lots of nitty gritty sort of details, but sort of if we rise above, high level, my thoughts on that I'm going to share with you today. But what do you think? Is there one thing, folks? Is there one thing that you think, right, if you just stick with this, then it's guaranteed? Now, there's no such thing as guarantee. I use that word guaranteed there just because I couldn't think of a better one. But there's no such thing as guaranteed, but it's highly likely. That it's not a very good headline, is it? Highly likely. Highly likely. Anyway, what do you think? Chuck it in the chat if you think you know what it might be. Because, sitting down with property investors or any investor or anyone who wants to, create something or do something, different to where they are or whatever it is, needs to do this thing. And there's plenty of other things that flow from it. But in reality, where are you today? So at some point in your life, you may have been toddling along and then you said, you know what? Yep, give it time. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, time's certainly part of the puzzle. That is for sure. The financial success that I have, or the financial situation that I'm in, my income, my future, my assets, something you want some more. So today you're at this point, you look into the future and say, in the future, I would like, something more, because for the most part, most people that I sit down with say, hey, I've had enough of having to exchange time for money. Now, I would like a bit more freedom, whatever that might be. So money often allows us more freedom, certainly cash flow and so on, allows us to maybe work part-time if we want to, maybe work on passion projects, maybe, help our children, our charities, do something else, whatever it might be. So we look into the future. At one point we decide, hey, where we are is not where we want to be. And what do I need to do to go about getting from here to there? That's a good question. That's a great question. And I think it's important for many of us to ponder that. And for those here on the call this morning, and most of the people that I've interacted with over the years, we decide that we're going to use property investing as our vehicle, our thing to go forward. Now, we'll combine it with other things. There'll be strategies and other bits and pieces. But, it's kind of like, okay, there we go. Well, we're going to use property investing, or we think property investing's the thing. We do our due diligence. We maybe ask a few questions. We maybe, read a few books. We maybe do a few other bits and pieces. But what is the thing? What's the one thing? And this is where, I sort of sit down with people and go, okay, it's a great idea, but we need to lock something away. And my conversation today is about the what I call creating the future in advance. How do we create the future in advance when it comes to you as a property investor. Yes, awesome. Alex, have a plan in advance. Question mark. Well, you make a decision. Is that am I missing an S there? Help me out if I've spelt that incorrectly. All right. You make a decision. Now, this is an interesting one. I've had this conversation with many people. You decide today what you are going to do. Okay? So, what's the decision? Now, it's fairly simple, and I'll use property as an example, and this can be done in many places, right? The decision is based on a little bit of mathematical jiggery-pokery, folks, right? The decision is we sit down, we create a plan, and Chris is going, okay, we need a goal. Absolutely. The goal is we're here today. This is where we are. Mathematically, dollars and cents, this is where we believe we need to be. And that means, folks, and I'm just going to just use this as a general idea, okay? That means we need to buy and keep 5 investment properties. That's the decision. Now, in the headline, I said it's simple. It is really simple, folks, right? Now, mathematically, it might be different for you. It might be 3. It might be 7. And you can use this. We know what works. And based on a little bit of due diligence, the decision has been made. The decision is you need to buy and keep 5 investment properties for 30 years. Okay, now that's the decision. That's the decision. It's been made in advance. You're not going to reconsider it. Now, this is the challenge. This is the thing. That sounds like a nice idea. I might give that a go. I'll see how I go. I'll buy one and just see what happens, right? That's no decisions. That's hedging. That's not even, you shouldn't even do it if you're going to, I'll see how I go. Smart people understand there is some evidence, some information, some knowledge, some facts in and around some things. Property is really simple and easy, right? Really simple and easy. We know that over time, property will grow in value. People saying it doubles every 7 to 10 years are full of it. It doesn't. It doesn't, and it won't. But we know over a 15 to 20-year period, the growth can be quite consistent, and there's some accelerators to it, okay? So, folks, that's why I say it's so simple. It's one decision. Everything else, well, what happens to the market? What if the interest rates go up? What if I don't have a good tenant? What happens if, all of that is hot air. All of that is irrelevant. The decision keeps you on track. Have you decided beyond any discussion? Yeah, and this is the thing. Do you know what? Maybe I should sell it. That should never enter your conversation because you have decided in advance to buy and keep those 5 investment properties for 30 years. That's done. And it's kind of like this. It's kind of like you go, treat it like having children. Maybe some of us don't decide to have kids, but maybe they come along as a bit of a gift. Anyway, think of it like that. You're in, mate. You're in. It's like you can't sort of can I give them back? Maybe one or two of us might have asked to do that once or twice, but you never know. So how do you create that in the future? How do you guarantee financial success as a property investor? This is what I'm telling you right now. Don't underestimate how simple this is. It's simple, and it's not easy because we have life to deal with. However, right? Maybe, Brendan, there's this kind of window with our children that you can get a bit of value. You can maybe claw back a bit of value when you can use them as tax deductions. I've been doing that for a couple of years, and very soon I won't be able to. So yeah, no, not in Australia. I don't think you can sell them, Brendan. There you go. But well, I heard this one the other day. Be kind to your kids because they're going to decide which nursing home you go into. And I'm like, no, they're not. I'll have paid for and decided that plenty in advance. Thanks. Anyway, there you go. So, folks, it's simple. It's simple. You have decided today to acquire 5 assets that you're going to keep. Now, that's the decision. It's done. And, you might go and research that and do some due diligence and, make sure that those things input, those things make sense. Fine. There's a couple of accelerators and magnifiers. Tim's talking about education and advice. Absolutely. And what's an accelerator? Well, an accelerator is the amount of money that you have to do this with. Now, accelerator, so if you have a chunk of money, let's say you've got 100 grand to do this with, it will take some time, which is the first magnifier, right? Time in, not timing, time in the market. Time in the market is a magnifier. The longer you own these assets, the more magnification that happens, and it magnifies in different ways. The growth magnifies more than the income, and that's the next part. So money is a magnifier. If you say, all right, I'm only going to put 50 grand into this, or would you put 500 grand into this? For me, if you have a goal and you've got the dollars and cents, you've got the capacity, get into it. That's what I always say. If you can, you should, especially if it aligns with your goal and within the framework of your buffers and risk assessment. Why wait around? I have so many people who go, I'll buy one and see what happens. And I'm like, well, you could actually buy 3 this year. You can buy 3. Why aren't you? Well, I'm like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Yes, you may not have experience in owning 3 and you want to sort of see how you go and you're nervous about that, I understand. But it makes no financial sense in any way, shape or form to buy one and then measure whether you'd buy another 2 based on how you go with that one. Doesn't make any sense. It's not clear. It makes no sense. And it's only based on fear, and you get financial planners and accountants and all these people going, it's like, no, the decision's made. You know what you want. You know where you're going to go. Get it done. Get it done, folks. Crack on. Money, either money in cash or money in income or money in leverage. Money will accelerate. Time will magnify the result. What else will accelerate? What else will accelerate, ladies and gents? Yep. You're dead right, Chris. Most people become nervous because they don't get some experience, get some coaching or some education and or some support. You're dead right. What else accelerates? Well, quality accelerates. Quality accelerates, folks. The quality of the properties that we purchase. The other one is you can already buy 3, but you buy 1 and see how you go. And then I've heard this before. I'll buy a cheap one. I'll buy 1 and a cheap one and see how I go. And I'm like, oh my Lord, that is, that's a crapshoot. That's a 50-50, maybe even less. You buy less properties than you can purchase in the time that you've got. We all know that finance and things change. 18 months ago, people could have bought 2 and now they can't buy any. Finance changes. Imagine, and this is the thing. You should have bought the 2 18 months ago and you'd own 2 bits of real estate. The average property prices has gone up 10% in the last 12 months, even though the interest rates have gone up. All right. So away we go. So quality, understand what quality means. It's an accelerator. And what's a magnifier of your wealth? Some time. And it's actually like I call it the 3 M's: maintain, um, manage, and maximize. These are magnifiers. Maintaining, like, look after your property, folks. Like your property investments should not be in the first 10 years used for you to have extra cash flow. That's not. The money needs to go back into the property deal itself, right? Later on, it's structured in that way. So maintain it. Keep it up to speed. Make sure you get a good property manager. And if you can, in the future, maximize that property. What does that mean? Well, you add value. You might turn it into a 5-bedroom later on. You might, significantly renovate the place. You might knock it down and turn it into a duplex or something else like that. Away we go. So accelerators, magnifiers, as we go. The decision: I'm going to buy this many properties. Now, the time sometimes can extend or accelerate or be shorter. But ladies and gents, folks, you just made the decision. You made the decision today where you are, because if you do that, ultimately, give or take, a time frame that's comfortable and flexible, call it 5 to 7 years. And it's not the end of the world, 5 to 7 years for most of us. Maybe if you're a bit older, you want it a bit different. But folks, you've made the decision. And if something happens and we go, all right, should we do this? And if it's not sticking with the decision you've made in advance, the answer is no. You buy and keep your properties. That's it. And then you don't have to waste time, emotional and mental time, kind of thinking, oh, am I doing the right thing? Is it where I'm going? Stop wasting all of that second guessing. You've already decided. You've already decided, ladies and gents. It's done. Okay. And then in the future, you go, oh, wow. Okay. And usually the first 5 to 10 years is harder because, economically, it needs a bit of time to get going. Anyway, there you go. What's the guaranteed financial success? One thing, just make a decision, folks, and stick with it. Stick with it based on a couple of desires and dollars and cents things you need. We've got calculators to do that. You guys have seen these calculators, I'm sure. And if you haven't, reach out to your coach. This passive income planning calculator. This is, so if we go down here, we go, okay, I've got a market value, my principal place of residence. I've got a bit of equity. Let's get on with it. I think I need a few properties. Add a property 1, add a property 2, add a property 3. You go, all right, well, here's my cash flow here. Here's my equity and value. And you can just play around with some numbers based on some fairly simple, understandings. I've just put 5% growth. That's really conservative. I've put 4% growth for income. You can make it more or you can make it less. I've loaned 100% on the properties because I've got equity. So it's, 100% borrowing. And you go, okay, well, in 15 years' time, if I went ahead and purchased these properties over time and I was able to do it over 1 a year for the next 5 years, and maybe you change this. Maybe you go, all right, this one's out in, 2030 and whatever. Just muck around with it. And you go, all right, that's fine. Maybe my cash flow is not there at that point, but I've certainly got my equity, right? Okay, that's my plan. It looks good. Even if I'm 20% off the mark there, it's still damn fine, right? It's still excellent. Let's give that a whirl, right? Away we go. Anyway, folks, hopefully that was useful today. Cheers, Luke. Thanks for hanging out, team. Good to see all of you here today. Join me tomorrow for another Wealth Coffee chat. We'll do it again. And those who are in our coaching and mentoring program, I've got a special guest coming on Monday morning for Wealth Coffee chats, Dr. Andrew Wilson. So make sure you you dial in for that one. We're going to talk for 15 or 20 minutes, but he's going to do a real much bigger deep dive Monday night on our coaching and mentoring program. You guys know the drill. He's going to tell us all about what the future holds when it comes to his version of the world, economics and real estate. So I'm excited about that. Anyway, there you go, folks. Done and dusted. Wealth Coffee Chat over and out. Join me tomorrow for another one if you're up for it. Let's do it. Till then, folks, you guys take care. Be good. And bye for now. See you, folks. Bye-bye.